guys, welcome. My name is Claudia. Today we are going to be making pozole. The reason I am sharing this recipe is I've gotten a lot of feedback about sharing this recipe on my Instagram, and another reason is that this is one of my favorite recipes. I grew up eating pozole my whole life, and it's even better than a lot of restaurants that I've been to, so why not share with you guys? So let's get into it. These are the things that you are going to need. So there are three main chiles that you need. You can get these at a Hispanic supermarket or at a regular grocery store. I didn't have any luck getting these at a Safeway, but I did find them like at a Lucky's or a Walmart. So the first chile that you're gonna need is called Chile de Arbol. And the second chile that you're gonna need is Chile California. And the third chile you're gonna need is Chile Guajillo. So from the chiles, you are going to need only one Chile de Arbol. These are very spicy, so just be careful when you are cooking with these. We use 2 Chile Guajillos, and we use 2 Chile Californias. Next item is low sodium chicken broth. And the next item is 1 onion, 2 to 3 fresh garlic cloves, 1 big 6-pound can of hominy. We will only be using about 3/4 of this. Some kosher salt. And about 2 pounds of boneless pork shoulder. The reason I do boneless is because I don't like messing around with the meat when I'm cutting up the meat. I feel like it's less hassle. In addition to this, there are toppings. These are optional, but they do enhance the taste of the pozole. So get yourself some limes, some dried oregano, and these are called chili pepper flakes. And this is up to your preference. I love eating my pozole with corn tortilla chips. That's just my preference. You can also use tostadas or tortillas. And all right, let's jump into it. It's gonna take about 15 minutes for your total prep time. So that's from cutting up your peppers, cleaning them out, browning your meat, and getting everything ready to throw into the pot. So let's get to it. Okay, so these are the items that you are going to need to make the pozole. So first, you're gonna need a blender. You're gonna need an 8-quart pot. So this is gonna be the main pot that everything goes into at the end. You're gonna need a 5-quart pot. Roughly, it can probably be a little bit smaller, but this is what we have to boil the chiles. This is a 3-quart pan. This is what we're gonna use to brown the meat. And then you're gonna need a strainer, a ladle, and then optional are prongs. All right, so let's start off by filling the 5-quart pot halfway. All right, so I filled this about halfway, and then go ahead and put it on high heat so that it can start boiling. We added 24 ounces of water to our blender. So now we're gonna go ahead and clean out the chiles. All you do is pull off the stem, and we're gonna go ahead and take out all the seeds. Some of the seeds will be a little bit stubborn and you can run them under water. So they should be cleaned out where there's no seeds inside. Some are a little bit easier and some stick a little bit more. For example, this one right here, they keep sticking, so I'm just gonna run this under water really quick. Perfect, you see the water just cleaned them right off. And then, all right, so next let's go ahead and cut the onion. So we're just gonna peel the onion and then cut it in half. We don't need to dice it up or anything. We're gonna need about 2 to 3 fresh garlic cloves. So an easy way to cut the garlic is cut the little ends off. And then it'll be all clean. All right, so we'll set these aside while we're boiling the water. And next we are going to go ahead and cut our pork shoulder. So we're just gonna cut them in 4 pieces. This is why I get boneless pork shoulder. It's just easier to cut and to manage. Okay, so now we have it in 4 pieces. I'm gonna go ahead and wash my hands. Now that the water is boiling, I'm gonna move the veggies that we just prepped into the boiling pot of water. Okay, so now that the water is boiling, we're going to go ahead and put all of this in here. To avoid splashing, I'm just using the strainer. Okay, so now while we wait for that to boil, we're going to go ahead and put the browning pot to about medium-high heat. Alright, so it's already pretty warm. We're going to add a very light drizzle of oil. Our browning pot is just about ready. So I moved the oil around. So I do want to make sure you guys know we are not cooking the pork in this pan. We are only browning it. So very lightly brown. And then we are going to be putting it into the pot, the main pot. So let's go ahead and start browning. So we don't leave it on there very long because again, we're not cooking it, we're just browning. So you'll be flipping them to every side. This will help keep all the juices in when it's boiling. Alright, so here's the color of it. Again, we're just browning. So now that it's brown, I'm turning it off. And I'm going to move it off the heat, and I'm just going to let it sit there while we work through the other stuff right now. Alright, so this looks like it's about done. It's been going for about 16 minutes now. I'm going to lower the heat. I'm going to move the big pot over to this side right here. And we are going to want to put the chicken broth in the big pot. Alright, so again, this is 1 quart of chicken broth. I'm going to go ahead and fill it with sink water. We want to get a 1-to-1 ratio with the broth and water. Alright, so we should have 2 quarts total liquid in the big pot. I'm going to go ahead and turn this on while we start working on the chiles, just so it can start getting warm. Turn this one off. Alright, we're going to move everything into the blender. So we don't want to get rid of the water that's in here. So we have 24 ounces of water in here. We're going to go ahead and move the veggies into here. Be careful, it is very hot. This is another reason why the tongs are good to have, so you do not burn yourself. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and move this one to the back now. Do not get rid of the water. The reason I'm moving it is because I need this big pot to be on our bigger burner. We only have 1 large burner on our stovetop, so you want to have the big pot on your biggest burner on your stove. And then go ahead and put this on high. Alright, now let's go ahead and blend our chiles. So now I'm going to go ahead and open the big pot, and we are going to use a strainer now. We're going to go ahead and put the chile through the strainer. So do a little bit at a time. And I recommend using a spoon and kind of twirling to get all the liquid to go through. So what this is doing is it's catching all the blended chile. This is optional. I feel like not a lot of people strain their chile, but I find it better because once you get to the bottom of the pot, you'll start to see chile get stuck to your teeth and your mouth and stuff like that, and I just don't like that. So this is just my preference. Alright, and as you see that the chile starts to get kind of dry, so the reason that we're saving the water in the back is we're going to use the ladle and put the water over this to strain more of the chile. so that looks like it's about done. I'm like kind of squishing the spoon into it to kind of get as much liquid as we can out. All right, and then you will dispose of the rest of this. And I'm gonna kind of just give it a little swirl. Now it's getting its color into the broth from all the chile and vegetables. As we get this boiling, we're gonna go ahead and throw our pork into here. All right, next we're gonna go ahead and add 1 tablespoon of kosher salt. I start with 1 tablespoon of kosher salt. Okay, now that I stirred it, we're gonna go ahead and leave it uncovered, put it on medium-low heat for 2 hours, and we'll come back and add in the hominy. Hey guys, so it's been 2 hours now. As you can see, the liquid has evaporated, and now we are going to do a quick taste test to see if we want to add any more salt. So be careful, it's really, really hot. At this point, the meat is completely cooked. All right, I'm gonna add a little bit more salt. I like salt, so that is why I am adding a little bit more. Let me get my 1 teaspoon. Again, this is optional. This is up to your preference. I'm going to now add the hominy. So this is the hominy. As I mentioned previously, we're not adding the whole can. So I'm going to measure by cups. Alright, so that was 5 cups or so, 5 to 6 cups, because I did go over a little bit. But we don't want to bring it all the way up to the rim because it's still going to cook a little bit more. So we are going to do the same temperature it's been on for 2 more hours. So this is going to soften up the hominy and tenderize the pork a little bit more. So what we want, our goal is to make the meat tender. So whenever we eat it, it's going to be falling apart as you eat it. So we are going to check back in 2 hours and see how the hominy and everything else looks. Alright guys, we are back. It has been an additional 2 hours. Now what we're going to be doing is taking out the pork and just chopping it up. You're going to see how amazing the slow cook. Ooh, it's falling apart. It looks so good and smells so good. Okay, so what we're doing is just take it out, put it on a cutting board, and we are going to chop it. You're going to see how tender it is, and then we're just going to pop it right back in for 15 minutes or so, and then it is ready to go. Perfect. All right, let's go ahead and chop this up. So I just have a ridged knife, and just look how easy that is. Smells so good. Oh my gosh, this smells so good. Cool. All right. So let it boil for around 15 more minutes. Then you can go ahead and take one of the hominy out and just give it a little taste to make sure that they're not crunchy. They shouldn't be anymore, but just in case. And if it is crunchy, let it boil like about 15-20 minutes more, and then you should be good. So we will check back in about 15 minutes. All right, the pozole is now complete. I have went ahead and poured myself a bowl here. I'm going to walk you through the toppings that I like personally. The first thing I'm going to go ahead and add is a lime. So I just took 1/2 of a lime and I'm squeezing it in. And then the second thing that I add is dried oregano. So the oregano comes whole, or the one that I did specifically, and you put it in your finger and you smash it, and then you sprinkle it on top. You add as much as you would like. I love me some oregano, so I am gonna put quite a bit. All right, the next thing I'm going to add is this chile. So they are dried pepper packets. Be careful how much you add. These can be very spicy. All right, and then that completes it for me. There is a couple other popular toppings that people put, such as chopped up onion, tomato, cabbage. You can even do radishes. It's really up to your preference or whatever you have in your kitchen. So that pretty much sums it up. I'm going to go ahead and give it a taste tester with my tortilla chips. Oh my gosh, it's so good. I also have a recipe for a green pozole that I really like. It's the same process of how we made this one today, but it's more of a lighter taste and it's super delicious. So let me know down below if you would like that recipe as well. If you try this out and add anything or change anything, let me know. I'd love to try it out. Alright guys, that wraps it up for me. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you would like, go ahead and give this video a thumbs up and subscribe. That would really help me out. Reach out if you have any questions. I'm more than happy to answer. I do upload new videos every Wednesday, so make sure you tune back on Wednesday to see what I'm going to be sharing next.